Hi friends, we are discussing wave optics in engineering physics. Under that, where in the last session we have seen polarization, producing plane polarized light. And also we have seen the construction and work, when we are discussing double refraction, we have seen the construction and working of a Nicol prism. But even that Nicol prism has got certain limitations. We know that Nicol prism can act as both as a polarizer and an analyzer. But what are those limitations? We shall try to understand now. The Nicol prism can act as a polarizer for those light rays which are slightly convergent and divergent. That means it can act as polarizer only when the incident light rays having some slightly convergent and slightly divergent beams. Suppose if the incident beam is a little bit more divergent or more convergent, then in that context, this Nicol prism cannot act as a polarizer. That means if the incident beam is more divergent or more convergent, the Nicol prism does not act as a polarizer. This is one of the biggest limitations. And we have seen already the schematic representation of a Nicol prism. If you can make the incident beam, let us see how when it becomes more divergent, why it can't be a polarizer. Similarly, when it becomes incident beam is a little bit more convergent, why it cannot act as a polarizer. Let us see divergence first. So suppose the incident beam you are taking is, let us say, a little bit divergent, more divergent. That means it is making very large angle with the front face. So what will happen in that case? So when the incident beam being more divergent, making a larger angle with the front face, then the extraordinary ray, you have two rays, E ray and O ray, extraordinary ray and ordinary ray. So in this case, the extraordinary ray will become parallel to the optical axis of the crystal. The moment extraordinary ray becomes parallel to the optic axis of the crystal, then automatically it travels along the ordinary ray. So along with the ordinary ray, it travels along it. And moreover, it is totally internally reflected back because of the CB layer there. Canada balsam layer is there. And because of that, totally internally reflected back by this Canada balsam layer. So therefore, there is no way the light can emerge out of the prism. So this is the problem when the incident beam is a little bit more divergent. I am just recapping. Whenever the incident light beam is more divergent and making a larger angle with the front face, the extraordinary ray will become parallel to the optic axis of the crystal, and therefore the extraordinary ray travels along the ordinary ray. Also, totally internally it is reflected back by the Canada balsam layer. Because of that reason, no light can emerge out from the Nicol prism. This is in the case of incident beam having a little bit more divergence. Let us see what will happen if the incident beam has little bit more convergence now. If the incident beam is a little bit more convergent, that means it can make a smaller angle with the front face. So being more convergent, making a smaller angle with the front face, now the ordinary ray will make an angle less than the critical angle at the CB layer. This is the problem. So whenever the incident beam is little bit more convergent and making a smaller angle with the front face, the ordinary ray makes an angle less than the critical angle at the Canada balsam layer, CB layer. Because of that, ordinary ray is also transmitted with the extraordinary ray. So both rays will be transmitted. So ordinary ray is transmitted along with the extraordinary rays. So therefore, because of that, it limits the angle of incidence for the crystal to just 14 degrees. The reason being very simple. The incident beam is convergent. That means it is making a very small angle with the front face. Therefore, ordinary ray is making an incident angle which is less than the critical angle at this layer. Therefore, that makes the ordinary ray transmit along with the extraordinary ray. When both rays are transmitted together, then it limits the angle of incidence to just 14 degrees. And also the angle between the extreme incident rays is also limited to 28 degrees. This is another problem. So this 14 degrees forces the extreme incidence rays to have a limitation of angle of incidence to 28 degrees. Why it is making it to 28 degrees? Because it can avoid the transmission of ordinary ray with the extraordinary ray and also avoid the total internal reflection of the extraordinary rays. So in order to avoid the transmission of ordinary ray with the extraordinary rays and also to avoid the total internal reflection of the extraordinary rays, this limitation took place. Because of this reason, Nicol prism cannot be used for highly convergent as well as highly divergent beams. So this is the basic drawback of Nicol prism. Nicol prism can be used either as an analyzer or a polarizer only to slightly divergent and slightly convergent incident beams only. Whenever the beams have become more convergent and more divergent beams, Nicol prism cannot be used for such highly convergent and divergent beams. So this is what we need to understand, the limitations of Nicol prism. Now we all know that in polarization, we have plane polarized light, we have circularly polarized light, and also we have elliptically polarized light. This plane polarization or circularly polarized light or elliptical polarized light is possible depending on what type of doubly refracting uniaxial crystal you are taking and how the faces are cut. So in that context, there is something called quarter wave plate, abbreviated as QWP. It is a device to produce circularly as well as elliptically polarized light. It is a doubly refracting uniaxial crystal whose refractive faces are cut parallel to the direction of the optical axis. So when the crystal's refracting faces are cut parallel to the direction of the optic axis, it looks like this. So this is the optic axis of the calcite crystal, and this is the thickness of the crystal. You have a clear separation of O ray and E ray. There is a possibility of circular as well as elliptical polarization. So for that, what we are taking? We are taking a doubly refracting uniaxial crystal and cutting the refracting faces parallel to the direction of the optic axis. So what happens then? In that case, when the plane polarized light is incidenting on the crystal, on the calcite crystal, the light naturally splits up into two rays. So both O ray and E ray. That means the moment plane polarized light is incident on the calcite crystal, the light splits up into ordinary ray, that is O ray, and extraordinary ray, E ray. And also they travel along the same path with different velocities. After splitting, both E ray and O ray travel along the same path. Their velocities are different. So therefore, that is what I mean by saying VE is greater than VO. That means velocity of extraordinary ray is greater than velocity of ordinary ray. Both have different velocities. So whenever the velocity of extraordinary ray is greater than the velocity of ordinary ray, as a result of that, therein we can find a phase difference. So the phase difference is automatically introduced between them. So therefore, the thickness of the crystal should be cut in such a way that it can produce a path difference of lambda by 4. Lambda by 4 path difference means phase difference of pi by 2 between the ordinary ray and extraordinary ray. Understood? I am just recapping. Quarter wave plate or QWP is a device from a doubly refracting uniaxial crystal whose refracting faces are cut parallel to the direction of the optic axis. When plane polarized light is incident on this calcite crystal, the light splits up into ordinary ray and extraordinary ray. They travel along the same path with different velocities. So, velocity of extraordinary ray is always greater than the velocity of ordinary ray. Therefore, as a result, a phase difference is introduced between them. So, the thickness of this device, therefore, is cut in such a way that it can produce a path difference of lambda by 4. Path difference of lambda by 4 means phase difference of pi by 2 between the ordinary ray and extraordinary ray. Clear? Now let us see how the thickness can be calculated, because accordingly you have to cut the calcite crystal. Now we can calculate. The moment you say path difference of lambda by 4 and a phase difference of pi by 2, you have two rays, extraordinary ray and ordinary ray. Therefore both have different refractive indices. For example, you take like this. Let mu e and mu o are the refractive indices of extraordinary ray and ordinary ray respectively. That is, mu e is the refractive index of extraordinary ray and mu o is the refractive index of ordinary ray, and the thickness of the calcite crystal be T. Now you have two types of crystals here. Depending on the difference of refractive indices, you can have a negative crystal and a positive crystal. Suppose if I am taking negative crystal means mu o is greater than mu e. Whenever refractive index of ordinary ray is more than that of extraordinary ray, it is a negative crystal. On the other side, whenever refractive index of extraordinary ray is more than the refractive index of ordinary ray, then it is a positive crystal. So for example, if I take a negative crystal, let us say what happens. Negative crystal means mu o is greater than mu e. Therefore, the difference we have to take is mu o minus mu e. So then what is the path difference? The path difference is mu o, since mu o is greater than mu e, therefore path difference can be mu o minus mu e into the thickness. Now I just told you the thickness is to be, the crystal is to be cut in such a way that it should produce a path difference of lambda by 4. So therefore this should be equal to lambda by 4. So for a quarter wave plate, it should be cut in such a way the path difference should be equal to lambda by 4. Therefore this mu naught minus mu e into T should be equal to lambda by 4 in the case of a negative crystal. So therefore you can mathematically equate mu naught minus mu e into T is equal to lambda by 4. By cross multiplying, you can get the expression for thickness like this. T is equal to lambda by 4 into mu naught minus mu e. This is the expression for the thickness to which the doubly refracting uniaxial crystal face is to be cut in such a way it acts as a quarter wave plate as a negative crystal. Suppose on the other hand, if you take a positive crystal means mu e is greater than mu o. So let us see what happens in a positive crystal. Mu e is greater than mu o. Therefore the equation will become mu e minus mu o into T. So the path difference will be mu e minus mu o into T. Now as said earlier, the thickness of the quarter wave plate should be cut in such a way for a positive crystal by equating it to lambda by 4. Therefore accordingly, just like in the negative crystal case, here also you equate this path difference of mu e minus mu o into T to lambda by 4. So in same expression, only difference is these two get interchanged, so that you will get this expression. This should be equal to lambda by 4. Is it not? Therefore, for a positive crystal, the moment you equate it to lambda by 4, this is the expression you get. As in the previous case, you want to measure thickness, so you can cross multiply and get an expression for thickness like T is equal to lambda by 4 into mu e minus mu o. This is for a positive crystal. In the case of a negative crystal, earlier we got T is equal to lambda by 4 into mu o minus mu e. So from these two equations, they give the thickness of quarter wave plate made up of a negative and positive crystal respectively. But the problem is, this particular quarter wave plate is applicable only for specific wavelength. Not for all, not for all wavelengths it will work. It is designed for a particular wavelength, which means quarter wavelet is not useful for all other wavelengths. That is one limitation. Now, if you see the applications, a quarter wave plate can be used, as I said in the beginning, it can produce circularly polarized light if the optic axis of the crystal makes an angle 45 with the incident beam of light. So, instead of 45, let us say, other than 45, if you make it to incident with the optic axis, then you will have optically polarized light. That is the only difference. Again, I am telling. The limitation of quarter wave plate is it is designed only for a specific wave, particular wavelength. Specific means particular wavelength, which means that quarter wave plate is useful only for this wavelength but not for all other wavelengths. Moreover, a quarter wave plate is used to produce circularly polarized light as well as elliptically polarized light. When do you get circularly polarized light? A quarter wave plate is used to produce circularly polarized light if the optic axis of the crystal makes an angle of 45 degrees with the incident beam of light. Similarly, a quarter wave plate is used to produce elliptically polarized light if the incident beam makes an angle other than 45 with the optic axis of the crystal. That means angle of incidence is 45, you will have circularly polarized light. If the angle of incidence is other than 45, you will have elliptically polarized light. That is how quarter wave plate works. Now, if I want to know when I will get plane polarized light, how do I get plane polarized light? For that, we have to use something what is known as half wave plate. You don't need to look at this diagram again. More or less similar diagram. Only thing is incident angles will differ. So, half wave plate is referred to as HWP. HW stands for half wave plate. It is also a device made up of doubly refracting uniaxial negative or positive crystal, but it should be cut in such a way that it should produce a phase difference of pi in this case. Earlier it is pi by 2. In quarter wave plate it is pi by 2 phase difference. Here it is phase difference of pi. What is phase difference of pi means? Earlier phase difference of pi by 2 means path difference of lambda by 4 in the case of QWP. But in HWP, path difference, phase difference should be pi means path difference should be lambda by 2 instead of lambda by 4 like earlier between the ordinary ray and the extraordinary ray. So, half wave plate will produce plane polarized light. It is made up of a doubly refracting uniaxial crystal, maybe positive crystal or negative crystal depending on the difference of refractive indices. It should be cut in such a way that the phase difference should be pi and therefore path difference should be lambda by 2. Now the same old procedure like earlier, you have refractive indices for extraordinary and ordinary B respectively mu E and mu O. That is, refractive index of extraordinary ray is mu E, refractive index of ordinary ray is mu O. So let us take a crystal. I am taking a negative crystal, which is a calcite crystal here. So this is the difference. In the quarter wave plate, you don't have any specific crystal. Generally, negative crystal means calcite, positive crystal means quartz. So if you take a negative crystal, so negative crystal means mu O is greater than mu E. So for a negative crystal like calcite, the path difference between ordinary and extraordinary rays, how do you give it? This is how you will give it. The path difference between ordinary and extraordinary can be given as mu naught minus mu U into T, like in the earlier case. Now, to get the required thickness of half wave plate, it should be cut to produce a path difference of how much? Lambda by 2 only. So, therefore, this should be equated to lambda by 2. To produce a path difference of lambda by 2, thickness should be, how to calculate the thickness? We equated. So therefore, this mu naught minus mu e into t is equal to lambda by 2. Thereafter, it's the same mathematical drama. To get the value of t, cross multiply this, so you will get t value like this. T is found to be lambda by 2 into mu naught minus mu e. This is the thickness of half wave plate required to produce a path difference of lambda by 2 in the case of a negative crystal like calcite. Suppose you want to take a positive crystal. Positive crystal means this varies. Instead of mu naught minus mu e for a positive crystal, you will get mu e minus mu o. Of course, positive crystal here is nothing but quartz. So how it differs in the case of a positive crystal like quartz? In the case of a positive crystal like quartz, that path difference is given by mu e minus mu naught into t. Again, the thickness of the crystal required to produce a path difference of lambda by 2, this expression should be equated to lambda by 2. When you do that, it appears like this. To get the path difference, to equate it to lambda by 2, then this mu naught minus mu e minus mu naught into t is equal to lambda by 2. Is it clear? Now again, to get the thickness, again you have to do the mathematical operation of cross multiplication, and you will ultimately get an equation of t is equal to lambda by 2 into mu e minus mu naught. So if you see both equations, t equal to lambda by 2 into mu naught minus mu e, t is equal to lambda by 2 into mu e minus mu naught. This is for negative crystal like calcite, this is for positive crystal like quartz. Now, let us see some of the applications of this. The half wave plate produces how much of phase difference? Pi. So, whenever you want to produce a phase difference of pi between ordinary and extraordinary ray, you need to go for a half wave plate. And one more thing, in the beginning itself I told, the purpose of using half wave plate is to get the emergent beam as plane polarized light. To get an emergent beam of plane polarized light, always we have to use half wave plate, because it rotates the azimuth of a beam of plane polarized light by 90 degrees, provided the incident light makes an angle of 45 with the optic axis of the half wave plate. But the limitation in this case is also that the thickness of half wave plate is cut in such a way that it can produce a path difference of lambda by 2 between the ordinary and extraordinary rays. Therefore, it is also useful only for a specific wavelength, not for all wavelengths. Therefore, we can conclude that both quarter wave plate, that is QWP, and half wave plate, HWP, both are useful only for a particular wavelength. So, I would like to at the end conclude this session as a summary by making you to recollect the very beginning of polarization concept, wherein I have mentioned about some of the applications of polarization in engineering. So if you look at the summary of engineering applications of polarization, you should understand that polarization is generally used to differentiate longitudinal and transverse waves. That is the first advantage. Second one is the phenomena of polarization, you can use it in glare reducing sunglasses. When you are traveling, you use different sunglasses. Na? To have a glare reducing sunglass, polarization effect is being used. Polarization is also used to perform some stress analysis test on some transparent plastic materials with polarized filters. Polarization, of course, is also very famously used in producing and showing three-dimensional movies. You might have seen that there will be different specs will be given for you to watch three-dimensional movies. It's a polarized effect. It's an effect of polarization. And of course, polarization is also used for mirrors that are generally used in automobile industries. And interestingly, polarization is used to know the specific rotation of a linearly polarized light when it is passing through, especially liquids containing optically active substance. Whenever you are having a liquid containing optically active substance, and if you want to know the specific rotation of a linearly polarized light, then polarization concept is to be used. And in polarization concept is also used in the measurement of something what is known as photoelasticity. In infrared, in medical industry, infrared spectroscopy is a concept. In infrared spectroscopy, polarization is used. So polarization of cosmic microwave background is also used to study the physics of early universe. When you want to study the physics of early universe and the formation of this universe, you need to have a understanding of cosmic microwave background on which what type of effect polarization is having. So these are some of the applications we discussed as far as polarization is concerned. So in this session, we looked at the limitations of a Nicol prism and then two different devices like quarter wave plate and half wave plate, generally used to get circularly polarized or elliptically polarized as well as plane polarized light. What are their limitations? With this, we have formally finished the wave optics concept of the university syllabus.